Hey guys, subscribe for daily content. And if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks! What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got another short little unboxing video to share with you guys. Actually, if this is what I think it is, there's nothing little about this unboxing. I haven't actually opened this up yet, but I have a good feeling what's inside. Thank you so much to who I think sent this. If it is what I think it is, either way, whatever it is, I'm going to link it right down below in the description. It does help my channel when you use those links, but that's entirely up to you. Thanks to my patrons for supporting me, and please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. All right, let's waste no more time. Yes. Okay. All right. Now here's the thing. I think this is the Beast Prime. Now I have all the other family members ready to go off to the side because I was pretty sure that this is what this was. I don't know the dimensions of this knife. And that's a point. Oh, is it? How thick are we? I think we're reasonably thick here. Okay, so this, oh boy, that does feel good. This is, yes, it is the Beast Prime in CPM 3V, which I think not everybody, but a lot of people might be relieved to see because they've chosen some very interesting blade materials for this knife in the past, or the other family members of this knife in the past. Let's do a couple of things here real quick, and then I promise we will be comparing. Oh, my goodness, is that smooth. Wow. Okay, so the ergos on this knife, I think, are in some ways better. Sorry about that. My doorbell cuts off my recording sometimes. What I was starting to say there was the ergonomics on this knife are in some ways better, and in some ways not as good as some of the other ones. And I can tell you right off the bat, I do not like this pocket clip. This pocket clip is silly town. I don't like that. I do like the different shape of the handle. The blade is very familiar and shares similarities with all of the family members, but I think very specifically the Alpha Beast for sure. Now, let's see here. I want to check lockup. Lockup is solid, definitely. Titanium and CPM 3V and quite a bit of it. So, let's not waste any more time. Let's compare to the other family members. Of course, the PMP Kodiak, I will link all of these in the description. PMP Kodiak, PMP Beast Prime, PMP Grizzly, which is in some ways bigger, but in a lot of ways it's actually the same size. And then, of course, the Alpha Beast, the hulking Alpha Beast. This is the Damasteel version. So we now actually have all four members of the family, or at least, you know, everything except for the original PMP Beast, which was actually from a long time ago. Here is your size comparison. Let's go ahead and measure the big boy here, or the new boy. This is not a review, guys. This is just an unboxing and first impression. The review comes later. 9 inches, blade length, 4 inches, cutting edge, 3.85 inches. Now, let's do the other appropriate view, and that's going to be thickness. The Kodiak I know to be the thinnest at about 185 thousandths. This guy appears to be the same thickness as the Grizzly, but boy, that Grizzly blade is very heavy. Let's measure here real quick before I stand these up and risk playing dominoes with them. Let's actually measure the blade stock thicknesses of each of these. So just for people who maybe haven't seen the reviews, blade stock thickness, 197 thousandths for the Kodiak, still very thick. That's about your XM24 thickness. I'm really surprised at how light this is. The Beast Prime coming in at 230 thousandths, so approaching a 1/4 inch. The Grizzly, I'm sorry, yeah, the Grizzly, slightly thicker at slightly over a 1/4 inch. Is this one just it's just slightly less, huh? Maybe that's why doesn't feel quite as heavy. We're going to do this one more time. Yeah, it's 230,000, so close to. And then, of course, the Alpha Beast is much thicker, way thicker. Yes, it's thicker than the Praetorian Tie. The Praetorian Tie, this is almost 0.4, way thicker. The Praetorian Tie is the same thickness as this blade. The Praetorian T is the same as this. It's like you can't talk about thick blades without bringing one of those up, and people always want a comparison. This is pretty thick, approaching a 1/4 inch, but my God, it is quite a bit less weighty. We got to weigh them all, right? We got to do that. Honestly, this guy feels about the same as the Kodiak. That's wild. The yellow stuff is just oil. Okay. Kodiak M390 and textured titanium. Weighing in at 10.02 ounces. The lightest of the bunch. What is going on here? Is it just the milling? The blade is, I mean, obviously heavily reduced with the amount, with the number of holes. That's a big part of it. And I think maybe just the scales. These appear very, I can't believe this is, oh man, 1.5 ounces less than the Kodiak. Same or very, very similar overall blade stock thickness. But versus the Grizzly coming in at 11.78 ounces, and then nothing even comes close. This is, the Alpha Beast it weighs over 1 pound, right? That is wild, man. If you, I guess, you know, for a knife that almost weighs, is almost 1/4 inch in thickness. I don't know if I can get this one to stand up. It's going to want to fall over, so we're going to have to create some distance between these guys. It's because of the backspacer. It's not going to do it. Can we just put this right here? Can I give you a little buddy to lean up against? Is that going to help? Yeah, a little bit. He just needs a little bit of a security blanket there. Okay. And then this one here, which also is probably not going to stand up. For a knife that has a nearly 1/4 inch blade stock, you can see it's also not quite as long. That's another reason, right? It's also not quite as long as the Kodiak. So there's a couple of indicators there that it's going to be lightweight. It's one of the lightest 1/4 inch blade stock knives that I've ever experienced outside of the Migron Arma. Now, if I remember correctly, and again, there will be links for this down in the description at Tools for Gents and anywhere else that I can find. I think these are about $400. It is much easier for me to choke that price tag down, considering we are looking at a knife that it's super robust and crazy thick, but also has oh my gosh, actually a pretty darn thin final cutting edge, considering how thick the blade is. And also, in some ways, you know, more ergonomic. Obviously, guys, I mean, I know there's going to be people aggressively missing the point here. If you have wasted your energy leaving me a big comment explaining why incredibly thick materials don't equate to additional utility or durability, you've wasted your time. I know that. Everybody else knows that. There's just a fun sort of X factor draw to really robust and sort of overbuilt or just ridiculous knives in terms of dimensions, right? We like these for the same reasons, you know, cavemen were attracted to fire. So we don't really need that much of a reason, right? But this is one of the most wieldy, overbuilt knives I think that I've experienced. And everything outside of the pocket clip is actually a little bit better on this guy. So very, very interesting. The Beast Prime. I think maybe also the blade is not quite as tall. Yeah, maybe. Let's look at this. Not quite. There's just a lot of extra weight, a lot of extra mass in some of these other versions. But that's crazy. I cannot believe the Beast Prime is actually coming in as the lightest of the bunch. I would have thought at least heavier than the Kodiak. So very interesting. I hope that this video, at least this short little unboxing, was helpful for people trying to decide. Blade steels, the original Alpha Beast came in D2. The new ones are coming in Magna Cut. They are just as thick as these guys, but super duper expensive. Kodiaks are $400 and come in titanium and M390. These guys, the Grizzlies, are $350 and are certainly big and robust, but it comes in D2 steel, which isn't really what people want to see, in my opinion. And then this guy coming in titanium and 3V is honestly the one that makes the most sense in terms of both materials and price. Now, obviously, none of them make sense if you really want to get down to it. But if you've been laboring over a decision, hopefully this information will help you. Now, just like all these other knives, the Beast Prime will get its own review a few weeks down the road. So if you want to wait for that, great. If not, there's links for it down in the description. I'll try to link this other stuff as well. Damasteel versions of the Alpha Beast like this one, I think they may have made a few more, but they are very, very rare and they are hyper expensive. So just letting you know, don't come back and complain to me when you see the price tag on those. Thank you again to, I assume, a combination of PMP and Tools for Gents for sending this in for me to take a look at. Thanks to my patrons for supporting me. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.